What's going on, thrill seekers? Today's real horror story takes us deep into the decaying, derelict corridors of an abandoned hospital that's become ground zero for some of the most malicious and inexplicable paranormal behavior ever documented. And trust me, by the time I'm through recounting the startling first-hand testimonies of the urban explorers who dared to trespass into this place's depraved recesses, you'll be wondering if they actually came face to face with the inhuman stalker forces rumored to still call this godforsaken domain their eternal home. So get ready to have your nerves shattered and perceptions of reality cast into question. Because if these experiences are to be believed, this forsaken hospital harbors some ancient evil that was simply never meant to be disturbed. Fair warning, this one gets extremely dark, so let's begin. For decades prior to its abrupt abandonment in the 1990s, the Penn Est Asylum in Pennsylvania developed a notorious reputation for reports of patient abuse, brutal experimentation, and sordid history as a human warehouse for the unwanted members of society. Inexplicably shut down with no public explanation at its operational peak, this massive, labyrinthine hospital complex was left eerily preserved, patient records and personal effects still scattered throughout. The perfect catalyst for rumors that something evil and unnatural continued lurking within its endless, darkened hallways. In 2016, a duo of seasoned urban explorers known only as Jake and Alex decided to finally document the storied corridors of long-abandoned Penn Est for themselves. Armed with cameras, flashlights, and all the expected gear, they felt confident their courage and healthy skepticism would neutralize any of the haunted whispers. How naive they were about what true evil still inhabited these soiled, purgatorial grounds where the most vulnerable suffered endless torment in life and awaited final judgment in death. From the moment they breached the dilapidated property, things started off strange. Loud, unexplainable knocking and scraping noises echoed from just out of sight down every hall they traversed. They noted thick feelings of being watched, almost followed, as they explored the shadows of the vacant wards and operating rooms. Certain rooms seemed to exude strange, thick sensations of dread and foreboding unlike anywhere else in the building. Some doorways even appeared to have deep gashes and markings crudely carved into their surfaces as if by something not of this world. But nothing could prepare the pair for what came next. According to Jake's solemn testimony, the first major encounter began in an abandoned X-ray viewing room. Activated by their flashlight beams, a dense black fog or smoke manifested suddenly with zero warning. It appeared to be alive and responsive, following their frantic movements as they fled in terror. The next inexplicable event is still burned into Alex's mind in vivid, dramatic detail. Deep in the lower surgical theaters, he turned a corner to discover what appeared to be hundreds of gruesome, mutilated potato sack figures lining the room's walls. His camera feed even caught a fleeting glimpse of one horrific creature in motion before his entire perspective was engulfed in thick black smoke again. But by far the darkest, most sinister encounter came in the hours just before dawn, as they were set to make their final exit. That's when it found them a massive shadowy entity described as being akin to a hulking, faceless mass of sentient darkness endlessly consuming all light around it. As this paranormal colossus pursued them, the pair fled into a vacant room, barricading themselves inside. That's when it somehow began seamlessly seeping its endless mass inward underneath the door, swallowing everything in its path. Unable to budge the door or reason with the primeval entity's inhuman hunger, Jake and Alex were quickly enveloping in the suffocating black ooze. Singularity rapidly consuming the room. Until, at the very last moment and with no explanation, it simply stopped violently, withdrawing back from the chamber and allowing them to slip out just before collapsing from sheer physical and mental exhaustion. In the aftermath, both veteran explorers were shocked and shell-shocked by the experience. Gone were their bravado and skepticisms of the supernatural. Those were swiftly replaced by acute PTSD and lingering flashbacks to their personal brushes with what truly seemed to be darker entities and forces occupying Penn Est. According to Jake's testimony, we're still putting the pieces together, but there's no doubt that something ancient, wicked, and hungry calls that place home, and it nearly consumed both of us as its latest offering. Places like that really do house a dark void where different realities intersect, things we cannot comprehend. So while the true nature of that specific entity remains shrouded in mystery, this harrowing encounter provides a stark reminder that we may want to pump the brakes on casually intruding into the abandoned corners where the darkest historical atrocities once occurred. Because it seems clear that no matter how forsaken these domains appear, they may never truly remain vacant of some long-departed human wickedness or inhuman presence bearing witness.